headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.
So a very warm welcome to the show in these difficult circumstances to the former Ukrainian ambassador to Austria, Alexander Scherbac. Good evening, Alexander.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. Before we start our conversation, can you tell me what's going on in Kiev at the moment? We're reading that there are huge explosions rocking the capital city there.
Yes, it's the rocking the outskirts, and it was maybe an hour ago, maybe a little more. Right now I'm in downtown. It's relatively quiet, just very distant explosions.
What is the spirit like in Kiev? How are the people taking it? Because this does seem to be getting worse by the day, the Russian bombardment. The resistance so far put up by your brave city, and in fact your brave country generally, has been extraordinary. Are the people of Kiev determined to resist Putin's forces?
Absolutely. Nobody... just surrender is unthinkable. People are doing whatever it takes. I had a conversation a couple of hours ago after one of these, onslaught of Putin's missiles. I asked my father, "What are you doing?" He lives on an outskirt. He says, "Well, what am I doing? I'm doing Molotov cocktails, me and my neighbors and neighbors." He's 75. So it was the answer, not of my father, of the whole city, of the whole country. We will stand our ground no matter what.
How are you feeling, Alexander, now that these missiles and bombs are hitting, and we know that women and children are being killed here? How are you feeling about that?
Oh, it makes me more resilient. It makes everybody here more resilient, and it makes the peace and restoration of the good relationship with Russia even more distant in the future.
I asked you onto the show tonight, Alexander, because I want to sort of profile the man at the centre of this, a man who's become an inspirational figure, not only for Ukraine, but for the world. And that is your extraordinary president, Vladimir Zelensky, who we understand is a former comedian, a television comedian, who also won your equivalent of our show, Strictly Come Dancing. So he's a sort of light entertainment figure. How did he come to be president?
It was an interesting story. First of all, he's very popular. He's a household name. Everybody knows him. In Ukraine and in Russia, people loved him, adored him. He started a TV show called Survey of People, where he was playing a president who would, an honest politician, who would transform the lives of the people, and who would change the destiny of the country, of Ukraine, specifically of a very concrete country, Ukraine. People liked it once, and there was this moment in the before the 2015 elections, where it's a legend. So one of his chief advisors said, "Well, you gave people hope. It's now up to you to try to make this hope a reality." And whether or not it's true, but it sounds like true. Like the
so
truth.
he played a president in a hit TV show over there, and people were so impressed by his portrayal of a decent president that he actually became a decent president. You must know him, Alexander. I mean, he's a very brave man. We can tell that. What kind of a guy is he? What kind of a person is he? I mean, I'm assuming he must be a funny guy since he was a comedian.
He is. He's funny. I spent 2 days with him in 2020 in September when he was visiting Vienna. Very funny, very relatable, very down to earth. But the 2019 election, it was kind of, every election, I always say, is like apocalypse. Your candidate is the Messiah, and the other one is the Antichrist. And then the election passes, and you should get back to normal, right? And he was elected with a big majority, but 23% of very, very patriotic Ukrainians who didn't support him. And after the election, this split remained. So he was kind of a messiah for the majority of people, but a kind of antichrist for the other ones. And it was very hurting the nation. Because it's not normal that people live with this apocalypse reality of the elections constantly, And then comes the war, and within days, everything changes. The guy has the guts. The guy finds the right words to inspire this nation. It's amazing.
Yeah, he really does speak brilliantly, and his speeches, I think, have inspired your nation. So what you're saying is, in Ukraine's hour of need, this man, Vladimir Zelensky, is now enjoying the support of nearly all of your country.
And the interesting thing also is, he's Jewish, ethnic Jew. He's not ethnic Ukrainian, and Ukraine was always, a little bit suspected of some anti-Semitism. And all of a sudden, 73% of the people vote for a Jewish descendant of a Holocaust survivor. So it was amazing. My friends, colleagues from Israel were approaching me. How is this? Can this be happening? And I told them, I told you all along, Ukraine is different from this, stereotypical perception. We just love this guy, no matter what kind of ethnicity he represents.
Yes, and I think he is emerging, or has emerged, as exactly what your nation needs. You need an inspirational leader at a time like this, and he is leading you through your darkest hour, isn't he?
Absolutely. So it was this moment when he was offered to be evacuated, where basically the whole nation was going to sleep at night with a 50-50 chance of waking up tomorrow in a different reality under Putin's full occupation. And he said, no, I stay. And it wasn't public. It wasn't like he did it to be liked by people. People found out it afterwards. People just saw him in the morning. He just went out of the presidential office, and he shot a 30 seconds video, which started with the words, "Hello, my dear Ukrainians." It was just so soothing and so inspiring, and it gave everybody the feeling, you know what? We can survive. We will get by. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's an amazing man, and Ukrainians are turning out to be amazing people. I'm sure you knew that already, but they are offering.
I didn't know my people were so amazing. It's such a discovery for many. We didn't know we had it in us.
Well, you do have it in you, and you've got our support all the way. Do you fear? We've got to go in just a minute, Alexander. But do you fear that because of your brave resistance in Ukraine, that bully and that thug from Russia, that insane thug Putin, might start resorting to ever worse weapons, might start firing thermobaric weapons at you, which will kill everyone in a third of a mile, or even worse, nuclear weapons? Do you fear that he might start bombarding you with even worse weapons?
Well, this guy, we call him the Kremlin Dwarf. He's up to anything. Of course, he has no morals. He has no moral compass. Today we saw a 66-year-old girl dying while it was broadcast on TV after one of his barbaric bombardments. he doesn't care about that. So we know what he's capable of, but we are not fearful. That's not what I perceive in the air. Quite frankly, I was 21 when the Soviet Union fell apart, and the feeling in the air is more close to what we went through back then. So it was a big scare, and we endured, and people in Russia went on the streets, and then all of a sudden the big empire fell. It was then Russia was on the right side of the history. Today it's on the wrong side, but somehow it feels like Putin has no future. The question is how many people he will take with him when he goes to hell.
Indeed, if it all goes wrong for him, and it's going wrong so far, it could be the end for him. This is a life or death issue for Putin, and I hope it ends up in his death. And I hope that you stay safe, Alexander, and to your family. All of our best wishes here in Talk Radio. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Good talk. Hot talk.
Bold talk. Talk Radio.
Listen on your smart speaker.
Watch it live on your smart TV.
The world headquarters of common sense.
Talk Radio.